Welcome to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today, with special co-host, Crystal is back as the co-host today. And we are bringing in two filmmakers from, and I totally just spaced on where you guys are from. Sorry, blanking out here.
Savage Films.
Savage Films. There we go. Sorry about that. I apologize. We have Johnna Hodge and Sam Hodge. Tell us about yourselves.
Well, we're filmmakers with Sin Savage Films, but we also act. I'm an actress, and he can act. Perfect. Yeah. Also, and we do our own movies. We do movies also with other people, but we mainly do our own movies. My husband here can do everything with the movies. As far as, he's a cinematographer, he's an editor, he makes his own music for our films, and he's also a photographer altogether too, for actors or for anybody that wants photo shoots. He's multitasker. Me, I'm the producer and co-owner, also a co-director now. For Redhead with him, and then I also do the boom operations, and I act in most all the films that we've done, and some other films. We enjoy doing it. We have the best.
Excellent.
I'm sitting here looking at your IMDb page, and your Johnna. It's actress. You got a bunch. Then you got producer. Then you go down. You got sound department. Then you got additional crew, stunts, special effects, camera.
She does everything.
I enjoy it.
Well, I mean,
so much.
We believe in doing stunt work,
Yeah.
It's going to be. So with me, I got started in 2017. My first film as a director was 12 Pole Manor. It was the second released full-length feature horror film ever shot on a cell phone completely. That's never really talked about, but it's
that's before we got the real expensive cameras and all the expensive everything that we have now.
so I mean, we did that and went forward with the camera, like the good camera stuff. I mean, we were able to kind of scrape together, about 80 grand in cameras and get our stuff kind of rolling real well, but. When I met her, we were working on some short films together to kind of hone the craft and working towards bigger things. So our first feature film together, Reunion from Hell, we shot with another director named Hayden Newman, and we shot that with Hayden Newman, and I directed that with Hayden. Johnna was she was down there for boom operation, audio. As a producer as well, and then they needed another redhead on set, and the one that was supposed to be there was not able to make a flight last minute. COVID was a bitch in 2020 when we were filming.
Yeah,
and she was excellent with some of her reels that she turned in, and they wanted to pick her up to film the parts. So not only did she have to attack boom operating, handling audio and stuff on set with all the other scenes, but she was supposed to find time to learn lines at this point.
Yeah.
So, morning showers between us at 4 a.m. We were getting up at 4 a.m. We would cry it out, and we would talk about it. And we got through every day, and it was incredibly rewarding. And now. That film, Reunion from Hell, is hitting streaming worldwide. It's on Prime. It'll be hitting Tubi in the next few days, I guess. It's Momitu, Typhoon, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can watch it for free. But it's a rental on Prime. So, I mean, it's cool to have out there. And we got done filming. Yeah, we got done filming Reunion from Hell 2 in early 2022. We had Mark Patton from Nightmare on Street 2, which was excellent. We had Danny Hassel and Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare on Street 4 and 5 on the second. Well, so it was and we had Kathy Pobwell on the first one from Night of the Demons in Dallas and stuff like that, which was really excellent. But with Redhead, that's all us. That's all local. That's we really went raw. It's very intense.
Crazy.
It's very just us, and
This is all us, and we want it to be disgustingly gory and disgustingly faithless kind of.
Love it.
At the same time, fun for anybody that loves horror movies.
but also
Yeah,
shot beautifully.
fun thing.
I mean, that's the whole goal is to shoot it with art. But
Yeah.
at the same time, nasty.
It's wild, and we do some dangerous stuff in this. Like whenever we use the chainsaw in this, I really use with the chain on, and I'm running with like stuffed trip hazards and high heels and all this, and I'm just taking risk and a quick little, test on Ashley that's in the movie with me. Also, he also uses the chainsaw with the chain on it, and him. Bless his heart, he is right there with the camera with it running, and he is like coming towards us, or he's like underneath of it, and he's really risking himself for this. But at the same time, we all practice it out. We do test runs and all that stuff before we actually start running it and know exactly what we're going to do, and it always works out safe and good. But
it's because we rehearse.
But we feel good that we're actually doing it the crazy way and not the safe way.
Hence the name of the film company. The name of the film company is Cinesavage, which stands for Cinema Savage, which means we approach everything in a savage way. My roots are very much in filmmaking are very much kind of derived from the way Tobe Hooper approached things in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and when you look at Sam Raimi and Evil Dead, I mean, I just I don't believe that you have to have a gigantic monster budget to make a good movie. You just have to have willpower.
And then your special effects are they're all practical, right? You're not doing anything in post with that. They're all practical effects.
Well, I will
For the
say,
most part.
you might find some touch-ups here and there, CG. I mean, it's impossible almost to get by without removing something that's kind of in a corner, or also if we have contact-sensitive stuff, and we end up having a contact that's not wanting to work right, we might have to do an eye touch-up. Like if there's supposed to be an eye effect or something, we might do that in post. But I mean,
We normally don't need to do that though.
it's nothing's really.
And we're very against CG.
Yeah, I hate CG so much. And the first time I had to do it was my first film, and I had there was a light on in a house. It was supposed to have all black windows, and I basically just had to block. It was matting. It's not technically CG. It's just matte work. You cut it out and you black it out, but you do some motion tracking to get rid of it. But I mean,
But as far as your gore and stuff, you try and do all that practically. You were showing us something earlier,
We make our own buckets of blood. We make our own props, everything.
We cook our blood,
Yeah.
So cool.
We enjoy doing all that stuff together.
Well, that's awesome that you two have you met on the set of the movie.
No, actually, so after I did the film 12 Pull Manor, I was looking for someone to play a vampire queen in a movie called Nocturnus, which, as it turns out, we'll film later down the road, long time. I was looking for somebody to fill that role, and literally just found her on Facebook. I was trying to not to be creepy, added her, waited about 2 weeks, and then said, "Hey, would you like to be an actress? Have you ever thought about lending yourself to a career or just a hobby in filmmaking, because it's fun. We're not looking to get rich or anything at the moment, but I mean, you never know." And it was really just a matter of days before we figured out we had so much in common. When she was telling me how much she loved film and horror and trying to convince me to cast her, she was sending me pictures of autographs from conventions and things, and actors. And I was like, "Holy crap! I've met the same people." And I started sending pictures of my pictures, and we started talking a whole lot about
everything that we had so much in common, and
We're the same person in a lot of ways. We're very different in some ways, but we're
more like
we're very much the same unit. And within a month after started to talk to her, we started becoming a thing. I mean, and we started doing. We did our first thing together. We did was a photo shoot. Actually, coming up May the 4th, we met in 2019. We finally met, and May the 6th, we were doing a photo shoot, which was like a wish photo shoot, and by God, like a week after that, we were together. I mean, it was crazy how
You just knew.
It's just
Yeah.
we're beer drinkers too. I mean, like she guzzles beer like I do, and I'm like, whoa.
Cat's out of the bag now, girl. We're gonna have fun.
he says, "Oh, that's hot. You can drink beer like that." Oh.
It was love at first beer, right?
Yeah, she came with a greeting gift with a 6-pack. She just brought a 6-pack.
You're like, I've got to get this girl. There's no.
Yes. Yeah, and as much I didn't want to admit it because my goal is never to be a creeper in film, but we really honestly genuinely turned out to be really great as a team when we worked together.
We were also haunt actors together on top of doing the movie stuff too.
Yeah,
so we did haunt acting.
We did a haunted attraction together.
Yeah. And then also did all the movie stuff also. So we was constantly acting and doing fun stuff together, and we enjoyed it. And everybody's like, "Do you guys never get tired of doing that stuff together?" No, never. We won't. We love it. We'll never get sick of that.
Yeah,
definitely.
I love your story. That's amazing.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's she walked into his life with a 6-pack of beer and a love for movies.
And a love for horror movies. Yep.
And she had this Iron Maiden shirt on, with laces, and her cleavage was like, ooh. How the hell am I going to resist that? She got beer and cleavage with an Iron Maiden shirt on, and it's just
You don't resist that. You go for it.
You can't walk away from a girl that's wearing an Iron Maiden shirt and the beer. So tell us about your upcoming movie, Redhead.
Go ahead, just lay it on them.
Well, I already said it's kind of gory and crazy, but in no man lives in this. Story. It's kind of wild. We developed the story together, and then he made the script, and then we kind of looked it over together, and then we tried to figure out exactly what we wanted to do, and then we changed it again, just some of the things, and made it crazier because we kept wanting to make it more and more crazy.
Yeah.
So there is, what do you say, like 40 some deaths?
Well, right now it's between 46 and 50 deaths in the movie. I mean,
and we've been filming on it now for a long time because we was making Reunion from Hell 1 and 2 in between of us doing Redhead. And now we'll have it finished here. We're thinking maybe July. We'll have it finished for premiering in October on the 30th, which is my birthday.
Yeah.
So we're trying to finish up all these other crazy shots and get them done and get everybody together, that still needs shot. And we was actually going to do another scene yesterday, but it got canceled, but we're going to do it next week. And with his schedule at work, it's always like we got to work that around his schedule, but we'll get it done because we're determined. But basically what the movie's about, it's about a woman that is like just a regular woman at first, except she's taken and she's held captive and
by
cannibals.
Yeah.
And the guy is like outrageously crazy himself anyways. And when he kills a bunch of people in front of me, and he ends up killing my husband in front of me, and he's tortured me, done horrible things to me, and I'm just really fed up with it, and I'm tired of him trying to feed me people and all this, and I want to get away. So I end up breaking away, and I end up making my revenge. And
here we are.
After I make my revenge with the people that held me captive, then I have to go to a psychiatrist, and they're trying to evaluate me, and they think I did this big favor. So I'm kind of a hero because I helped all these deaths from happening anymore. But at the same time, it was so traumatizing to me. And then there's other driving.
That's the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the very beginning.
That's the very beginning of it. It gets crazier after that. So then when I break away and they release me, I keep having flashbacks about what I'm going through. And I keep seeing the guy that kidnapped me's face. And I start like all the time freaking out. So anytime a guy comes up to me and hits on me too much at a bar or wherever I'm at, or he's being mean to another woman, or anytime that something sets that crazy off in me, I just kill them all. I just go through it. I kill them in crazy off the wall ways that we try to come up with different ways of deaths that people probably haven't thought of yet, or stuff that they haven't thought about doing, because we want it to be shocking and fun for people. That way they'll go, oh yes, this is something wild, I love this. And then also there's some other things we also combined it with our other movie, Hag Witch, that we was going to do. We decided just to combine it, instead of it being me weak in the Hag Witch, like we was going to do it. Instead, I'm weak at first and become this strong, crazy killer. So there's also some evil forces that's kind of after me, because I'm grieving my husband still so bad. It wants me to be enhanced more. So then I get more crazy.
There's a possessive factor.
So there's a possessive factor that also influences me more than I already was. So it makes it more crazier. So then there's more deaths. And it's just going to be a really wild ride, I think. And I'm hoping everybody loves it.
There's a really cool death where a guy gets rebar shoved up his ass and it comes out of his dick and explodes. and then when she pulls it out, like shit sprays. So it's
oh my gosh.
We was talking about one day off the wall. We need to make some shit spray now.
Yeah, we gotta have shit spray.
We gotta have shit. So that way
I love it.
An example of like she shoves a crowbar through a guy's throat. It's in the trailer. That part goes into his mouth, and he comes out his back of his head. I mean, I get a saw in the dick. She puts a saw right in my dick and runs it up my belly and up my chest, like all the way through, and pulls me open.
That's kind of in the trailer too, but we just don't show everything on that one yet.
There's a guy that gets stabbed in the balls with a knife, and then his testicles fall out. So I mean, there's a lot of terrible things there that happen.
Yes, I love it.
So I have to ask, is one of you the voice of reason? Like when you plan a death or something like that, one of you goes, that's we can't do that.
Honestly, I'm probably more conservative than she is, and I'm not.
Things like I'll be thinking like all this crazy stuff, and I brought up stuff to him that's like wild and even more crazy, and he'd be like, "Well,
we don't have a room in script.
We don't have room in the script for all this, but maybe if something happens, this one does real well, we'll figure out maybe another one or something, and we'll put it in it." But then I come up with some real. He's like, "Yeah, that's kind of fucked up, and I like it."
Well, see, I don't have any boundaries as far as what kind of kill we're doing. It's just me. For me, it's like, why? Like I have to have that, as a screenwriter for the movie, like there has to be a purpose, and there has to be a reason for displaying that. Like there has to be a build up consciously in the dialogue. But like there is a kill montage in this movie, so it's like I don't want to waste some of our best kills on a kill montage. I mean, there's some good stuff. Like, I mean, a hammer goes through a guy's jaw and rips out his face, and his teeth go flying. And that's part of a kill montage. Like, there's 15 guys that died just as part of a kill montage. Like a little thing in the middle of the movie that's just to kill people. I mean, but as far as anything that's like really super traumatic, there has to be a reason for it, and we have to have the place to do it. We can't just put it all in, one location. So we have a lot of locations in this, which brings me to some generous producers that we have on the film. We have a couple guys named Jason Leah and Jason Beater that have given us bars to film in. We have the mayor of our town that's given us police station and police cars and policemen
And he's
to
in
you,
it also.
and he's in it, and he's like, "Hey, I'll die too." Like, I mean, so it's like, well, the
Kill
mayor is.
me.
And we say that, well,
And
can't
he's
wait to
running for
kill you. Can't wait to kill you. And he's like, hell yeah.
He's running for re-election. You know, we see him
He's
all over
awesome.
town. We see him all over town. And he's like, "It's cool. Like, I mean, just kill me." And
He makes our town so much better. He
Yeah.
really does.
That's
and
awesome.
we have another business owner, John Sloan.
No, James Sloan.
James Sloan. James
Uh,
Sloan.
My old boss, James Sloan, he has a warehouse and he's got some other locations. I was sitting there thinking, you know, when we was going to take him some things from the movie because he likes the movie, he's a fan. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm going to see that warehouse is like really cool and we could probably use that. And I'm going to ask him if we could do that. Oh, he was like, absolutely, absolutely. So we had a little meeting with him and stuff and I was excited. And then he's got some other locations and he's really cool and awesome and he loves horror. So that worked out good for one of our scenes that we got coming up. That
Big
was
scene.
Big
And
scene. Yeah.
I said, no, I gave him a caveat at the beginning. I said, now look, we're running a chainsaw, and this girl gets gutted. You know, just blood all over the place. And I was like, but you know, you got like basically kind of a gravel floor back there. So okay, we're just gonna sweep it up and get rid of it. He's like, sure. He didn't give any stipulations. He was just cool with it.
Wow.
And then it also helps, you know,
Love it.
we're also haunt actors at 12 Paul Manor Haunted Attraction.
We've got that.
We
too.
have that entire huge place that plays out a big part in the movie. Will Holland, who is a realtor, had a
Mhm.
beautiful place that plays out as like a psychiatric facility. Gave us that kind of stuff. So as indie filmmakers, I mean, it's you have to just kind of ask, and you get it. I mean,
Yeah.
but you take your time. You
Yeah.
have to be patient. You can't just film a
Yeah.
film in 2 weeks. But honestly, I feel like doing what we're doing right now with the amount of time we're covering. You know, it's been a year and a half, and it's really coming together because of the patience. And if you were to have given us $20,000 a year ago and said film it in 2 weeks, it wouldn't be as good as we're doing now
No.
with patience and time and gathering resources in the community. Because the
Yeah.
community, I don't know what the hell it is, but I tell people we're stabbing people in the dicks and ripping guts out everywhere and else, and they're like, hell yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where did this come from? Why are you?
How do I get in on that?
Where's this town at?
They're like, I got a garage you can use.
Can you take my ears? Like what?
Right.
The
I'll
people
die.
are awesome
People are
around
like, I
here.
want to die in the movie.
Yeah, they're really awesome around here.
So we have to
And
turn down more people than ever. Like, I
we've
mean,
had some other ones though that's came in to be with us to film. Some other actors that we worked with.
yeah.
Oh, and some other ones that are just going to happen to be in the area. We've had some that's come to visit near the area and just decided hey, you want to be in the movie because you're going to be near here because we know them real well, and that worked out a lot too.
Yeah, well,
Awesome.
and we've been really blessed with some people that came on as producers too for the Hagwitch that wanted to continue on with this movie. Justin Fox is a really good one, and he came in and graciously on a day off. He's living. Is it Kansas? Forgive me, Justin. I don't know where you live. I'm sorry, but he drove a long way. He's a truck driver, and he on his day off he just came in and he did a death scene. Daniel Lund is another producer that we have that he put a bunch of money into. When we were fundraising for the Hagwitch, and he's coming in to get killed in June. So we have all these gracious people that are working, and they both of those guys have been working on a ton of indie films lately. They work with like Kane Hodder and Felissa Rose, and they've been doing stuff with just everybody that's in the indie community right now that's doing a lot of indie films. So it's nice to have.
Then we also had our buddy come in that
Evan Mackey. So Evan Mackey was in The Walking Dead, and he was also with us in Reunion from Hell 2.
Okay.
By the way, in Reunion from Hell 2, he has a death that is different than anything. It's different than anything you've ever seen.
It's amazing and crazy.
It's cringe.
I can't wait to see that one.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so I will say, Reunion from Hell 2 is it's a little bit bigger on the death count than the first movie. I know we're talking about Redhead, but those two movies definitely have some merit. And her performance in the first Reunion from Hell, she got hurt pretty bad doing her own stunts and just continued on through. I mean, she had this crazy swelling on her spine, no X-ray, nothing like that. She just was like, "Go
Wow.
And I finished the movie because we had just started it, and I just was like, "Hey, whatever it takes, I'll do whatever."
Well, she got at the beginning of the movie. We were a weekend, and we had 2.5 weeks of filming.
But I did get thrown back with one hand, and when I got the guy when he threw me, we didn't. I mean, we knew that I was going to hit the bed, but we thought I was going to hit on the bed.
She's supposed to hit the mattress.
I hit the side.
She hit the frame,
which was a frame, and it cracked me here in my spine, and I just kept on going like nothing even happened.
And it was a one take thing, and she was still screaming and going, and boom, we finished the stab, the whole effect. And
my death is crazy in that too. There's so many different ways.
Our Pug was trying to tear the phone down.
But our friend Hayden also got hurt doing that film.
He broke his elbow.
Yeah, he broke his elbow. He was doing some crazy stunts too, since we all did our own crazy stunts, and he got hurt too.
Oh, wow.
And his arm, like where I kind of suffered through with my spine, his arm, he had to suffer through the rest of the film with that too, and do that. So me and him both kind of suffered together.
So you asked about the voice of reason. Sometimes I have to say, you can't get hurt because, I mean, you don't have a stunt double, and who's going to do your dialogue? I mean, you can't do that. Like,
yeah.
So there are some things you just have to say. It's not
you may not want to move forward with that now. Yeah.
Take a break, chill out. So
take a step back, rethink this. How else can we frame this? How else can we shoot this to make it work without you getting hurt?
There we go.
Yeah.
So as far as, in our press kit for Redhead, we have actually an entire 2-page section describing kind of how we mitigate some of the safety concerns with running a real chainsaw with real teeth on it. Because when a scene's going, I want to see the chain stop and start, because it's craziness. It's, revving it and stopping it, revving it. I want to see the chain stop and start. You don't get to see that, and I don't want to implement the CG chainsaw. No way.
Yeah.
Not an idea in my mind to do that. So what we do is we run everything dry without the chain without the chainsaw even on, nothing. So we run all the movements with the camera handheld, do everything we need to do. It's all set up, everybody's in place. We run it dry. That way, over and over
go ahead
again.
And practice it without running at first, about 4 or 5 times, and then when we feel comfortable, like we can do this and nobody's going to get hurt, then I'll go ahead and rev it up, or Ashley will rev it up, and he'll be there ready to film it. Bless his heart. And then also Travis, whenever I had to do the last scene with Travis with the chainsaw.
Travis Robinson.
Yeah, he was
one of our effects guys.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's in the movie too. He was like, I was running after him with it, and he's always brave, so he wasn't scared of anything.
It's scary though when you got as haunt actors. A lot of the people in this movie are haunt actors, so they're used to running a chainsaw without a chain on it. No big deal. You can slam it against your leg. So I think some of that comfort in getting used to a chainsaw without a chain. Now we're extra afraid because we're like, oh, I might be too comfortable running a chainsaw with a chain on it, because I might just be like, oh yeah, bam, and slamming into somebody, on impulse. Like, that's a scary thing. You know how you get too used to something?
Oh yeah.
And then they give you a much more dangerous thing.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you can just kill somebody. And so we have to be extra careful about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have to ask, when you guys are putting a movie together, because you guys talk about all the death scenes and stuff like that, do you figure out that you're going to put a X amount of death scenes in your movie, then figure out the budget you need to put all the death scenes in the movie? Or do you get the budget and then go, well, I can put that budget, I can get 22 death scenes out of it?
Well, okay, so this is an interesting thing. With Redhead, we don't really... We could film an infinite number of deaths based on just our paychecks, paying our bills and stuff, and just really having the blood and stuff like that we have.
Yeah.
But So we say, you know what? I want to have a death about every minute and a half in this movie on average. That's our goal.
Okay.
But what we do is say, okay, if we want to have an exploding head with a shotgun, we need $1,000 for the silicone and the sculpting and everything else and the casting to make sure that it's going to blow up real. And we can't do it like Tom Savini used to do with a slug and a shotgun and just hope and pray that everybody's safe.
That reminds me, I'm gonna get something real quick. Talking about that.
That reminds me.
Reminds me, I got to
She's
hit.
like, oh, blowing off heads. Hold on 1 second. Let me go grab something.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I still had footage. I filmed just a test scene one time years ago out at my dad's house, out, and I wanted to shoot a head,
Ooh.
Tom Savini style. So I took a watermelon, cleaned most of it out, filled it with leftovers. I think a can of soup, some other stuff, and then I put a mask over it. And I had it on a pole, and it boom! I blew it up. I had it on film. It looked so beautiful, but yet again, I actually had to shoot a real shotgun to blow this part.
Yep.
So,
What is that mask?
Oh, tell them about the mask.
Okay, this mask, this is what's in Reunion from Hell 2. And this is what I was going to tell you about when it comes to where he's talking about doing the face and the head. Our friend Travis does this. And he's the one that works also at the Haunt, and he's our effects person.
mm-hmm.
He did this amazing. I had to brag about it because it's beautiful.
That's her face, but it's been cut off. So in the second Reunion from Hell, the killer is wearing her face.
I had to brag about his work because he did amazing. And I also had my
really
throat
good
snap in the first one, and he made sure to make that part of it too.
And there's some spoilers here, but I mean that shit happens.
Well,
but it's entertaining though, and
it's
you know
amazing.
what? If you want to see this kind of stuff, watch the movie. Like I mean, but here, get
cool.
a good look. You know, it's
really good made,
really good.
and he does a great job.
Yeah.
But
I can see your structure. Your whole facial structure is beautiful on that mask. Yeah.
It's funny because my mouth was closed, and whenever I had a death, my mouth was like that. So he said he basically kind of opened this up himself, so it looked the same way it did.
So he cast her face, and then he pressed it into clay. He did the clay model after he cast her face, and on the clay model, then he was able to open her mouth up and stretch it open a little bit, and then from the clay model, he was able to do the casting for the latex and the beautiful 1 year rotten paint job he did. I mean, it's
beautiful.
He's really good at rot.
So I guess we're going to help him do his full head soon.
Yeah,
we're going to help him out.
So cool! Yes, I love it.
So his whole head is going to be cast with a shotgun. You know, it's really exciting. We're planning on cutting the whole body in half with a chainsaw too. I mean, it's we have to raise money. Those are the kinds of things we're like, okay, we know we can manage everyday kills. You know, just we can spray blood all we want. Like, I mean, that's a thing. Like,
yeah, but you're the guy that can make anything out of anything.
I mean, we can make intestines easy and stuff like that.
You made a body that we used in the beginning part of the trailer where you see my hand kind of goes through Ashley and I'm pulling out his guts. That was a prop made by him by just household stuff, and it was real. And Ashley just had to put his arms out like this, and it looks like his body. It's crazy. It had his sweater on. And I have to brag, he can make about anything out of anything. He'll just sit and think, hey, wait a minute, how can I make this?
Well,
and he'll just figure it out. Like
half that is editing too, how you're going to cut your shot. Like, I mean, how can you make this believable? You know, you show somebody's face enough, you cut their face in, and then you cut to their abdomen, and something happens, and people believe that that's them. Like, I mean, they see a full in their mind, but it's not there. But
it's awesome.
But I really do want to see like a full real cast face blow up with a shotgun to the face.
Oh man, yeah.
That's
brutal.
Yeah. Well, that's on the poster you see John holding a shotgun. You got that kind of thing going on. So it kind of the movie Redhead kind of does harken back to the 70s revenge style.
Mhm.
However, there's too much weakness in those movies, in my opinion, as the character. They feel trauma and remorse, and they're truly getting kind of revenge. She's more of a nanny in this. She's really just pissed off, and she goes from normal woman, and even when she's still tied up for weeks, pissing and shitting herself, she sees her husband get killed in front of her, and then this guy is trying to feed her meat from someone who was sitting next to her a couple days prior, and he's joking about it and laughing, and it stinks, and it really does stink in real life, and she loses it and snaps, and defends herself and kills him, and actually just when she snaps, she takes a bite out of his guts, like just to say fuck, and she says fuck you, and she takes a bite out of his guts.
Yes.
And then she goes and murders his wife, who's in the process of cooking more people.
Yeah.
And then we cut to opening credits, and then she's in a psych facility after that, and they're like, well, we've kept you the mandatory 14 days. It's no problem. I mean, you probably could benefit from extra counseling, but we're not going to hold you for criminal charges or anything like that. So you're free to go, because it was all self-defense, and we understand why you did what you did.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Sometimes it goes that way, and sometimes it doesn't. You look at real life situations, and sometimes people would just turn loose without the proper help.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But then she tries to move on in her
All the
life.
time.
She makes the mistake of going to like bars and like just trying to.
I basically was trying to drink because I was trying to, get a little bit drunk and get myself out of the mindset that I was in, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Number
Just an
one.
escape.
Yep.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it does not work out. And anytime I try to go out or do anything, it doesn't work out. Even sometimes when I'm at home, it doesn't work out because they'll show up or something. And
Well, the first couple
Delivery
guys.
man or like,
Well, the first couple guys that she kills prior or post all this trauma, the first couple guys she kills after that, they really do legitimately have it coming. I mean, one has the intent of trying to drug her and rape her, and another one is actually her psychiatrist and is like trying to manipulate their relationship and trying to use that to take her someplace and do things.
Yeah.
She never falls for it. Her instincts, because she already has a taste for what it's like to be that way.
yeah.
She does that, and then there's a turning point where she basically kind of really loses it. So basically, the first act ends there, and then we have kind of a possessive force that takes hold of her in the middle of the movie, and that drives her to just be kind of unhinged and really a slasher, and not a revenge exploitation thing from the 70s. She's a true slasher in that sense, and she has a little bit of supernatural stuff, but she's always in a situation to where it's believable that she's 115 pounds. It's believable in the way that we do it that she can take care of these guys because they're all thinking with their dicks.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
get you in trouble all the time.
Yeah, well, it's all based on how we feel in real life too. Because hell, we'll be out at the bar. I will get up to go to the bathroom, and 2 seconds later, the guy that's been sitting 2 seats down from us will start hitting on her.
Of
And
course.
she's got this rock flashing on her finger, but they don't care.
You
Yeah.
walk right up to the jukebox, they'll walk right up to you. It doesn't matter if your husband's standing at, they don't care. I don't know what's wrong with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why we felt like Redhead really resonated in our story. Like, I mean, like we as much as we hang out in bars, we really kind of thought, this is a story for our life. I mean, and also she gets called Red a lot. I mean, it's you would think it's kind of clever, but it's kind of upsetting.
I really love the whole concept, like being a woman, like I'm seeing where all these kills are coming from. There is a story behind each one of these kills and why she does it. So I'm really intrigued to see the film and to see the backstory of each one of these victims that you guys pull up, minus the montage. But, it's like you just described something that happens literally to every woman that walks in the bar,
Mhm.
so it's wonderful. I love it. I love the idea.
Well,
And I do want to offer the caveat that there is no political side to what we're doing. There's no like left or right to it. It's literally just being a human being assaulted on a. She can't go to the gas station, and I'm sure you probably have trouble too. She goes to the gas station at night, and she gets followed. Like I mean, they'll follow. They'll Walmart checkout. Like if I'm at work,
Oh, that was scary. The Walmart
you got people
checkout
falling
thing.
out in the parking lot trying to get their car and stuff. Like I mean,
Yeah.
this drive. I mean,
It's
this
crazy.
real life bullshit drives the movie.
Yeah.
you know, and it's funny because it was not funny, but I never paid attention. I know I should have. You know, the plight of women now is I used to go to the gym late at night. I'd go like at midnight because it was usually just me, and occasionally there'd be other people. Well, I never paid attention. The lights in the parking lot didn't work until one day I had one of the ladies that was there. She comes up to me. She goes, "Can you walk me to my car?" And I went, "Sure. Yeah, I got no problem with walking you to your car. Okay." So I stop what I'm doing. I get over and I walk them out to their car, you know, and they thank me and I go back inside. And I was sitting there talking to the girl at the counter and she goes, I was like, "That's weird, right?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "You're here all the time. They know you're here all the time. They see you talking to us. You're friendly." And they go, "Do you not notice that the lights don't work in the parking lot?" And I was like, "What?" And I like walked out and I looked outside. I'm like, "Yeah, the lights don't work out in the parking lot." And they're like,
Yep.
"But you walk out there with them. They feel safe because, you know, you come off as safe." And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm safe. And,
Yeah.
and I never even thought about it until, you know, you see it actually happen in front of your eyes like that. And I'm like, "God damn, I should have." And you know, I my wife has told me stories, and I'm like, I've never had to experience it like that. And you're talking about this, I'm like, damn, it is. It's scary. There's just creepy
Yeah.
ass people out there.
The crazy thing is it doesn't even have to be in a dark parking lot at night. Like
No.
I go for a walk during the day, you know, it'll be noon and I'll go behind my house and it's a dirt road behind my house. I live on a busy street, so I have to go in the back or there's too much traffic. There's nowhere to walk. And I've been followed 3 times now.
Oh, geez.
So it's, yeah, now I carry a knife and I got my concealed carry. Like I'm not playing around. Don't pull your car over in front of me. You know, like I don't do it. Like
Nope.
you don't know these people. You don't know their intentions, you know?
Yeah.
So it's scary.
It is absolutely frightening on
Yeah.
how easy it is now. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's gotten crazy easy for men to stalk women. It's just bad.
Facebook is an incredible tool for finding people, and it's scary in the same right.
Mhm.
I mean, they have in the last couple of years. I've noticed it seems like it happened overnight, but in the last couple of years, I mean, you don't see as much information about people posted publicly on their like about section. People are more like, you know, they're becoming more public figures and less like social phone book. There is no, you can't really use a phone book the same way you used to.
Mhm.
I think
But-
she's wanting us to tell about her.
Puggles is she's a movie star.
She's beautiful.
She
I love her nails.
so she actually gets discovered by Autumn Blacksmith. Autumn Blacksmith is the character in Redhead. Her psychiatrist has this pug, and basically in their sessions even talks about how kind of annoying it is. All it does is snore, and so she's calm. But then as soon as he says that, she's just kind of like, I don't like you, man. Like, so even at that point, she's not like completely distrusting of people, but you know how it is when somebody mistreats a dog or talks bad about a dog, you don't like them. They can just drop dead. So eventually, you know, she does take care of the psychiatrist and finds his dog and takes her.
Yeah.
And Puggles does partake into some blood eating, and she
helps me kill sometimes.
She does enjoy.
Or you kind of
I
trailer.
love
And she's my little helper.
it.
Yeah, talk about it. My little fat dog's just laying on the floor, just staring at me.
But she got her first actual role in Reunion from Hill 2. Like she's in that movie. We shot that in Tennessee,
Uh-huh.
and we got her involved in that. She was on set. She was basically an emotional support animal for everybody on set when she was there.
Aw.
She provided so much comfort for people. When you're away from home, you're trapped in a cabin on top of a mountain
Yeah.
with a bunch of people you really don't know. A dog gives you familiar home feel. It kind of makes you feel like you can relax a little bit because if you can look around and see who's addressing said dog, and who to avoid when they don't.
Oh, baby girl.
Yep.
The other interesting thing about Puggles is she has a collapsed trachea, so she basically living on borrowed time. So she's kind of in a race to finish things, as it were, as a pug actress. But she's, she continues to kick it, man. She's tough, and she puts
Good
up
for
with
her.
the crap that we make her go through. Yeah.
And
She's a trooper.
So she's got to go through us doing stuff
does
for her
Instagram too, so she's-
Instagram.
That's so cute.
But
I love that.
I do have another question here.
Yeah.
You said that you're planning a death every minute and a half.
Well, the kill montage does kind of cheat that because because we do have a 3-minute scene where there's a kill every 6-7 seconds, cutting a bunch of kills. It's just killing a bunch of guys. It just basically shows her being unhinged.
Okay.
And so it serves as a transition to a different part of the story. But
Okay.
so that does kind of bring down, it does kind of bring up the kill per minute, but you won't see a kill every minute and a half.
Okay,
There are
I was wondering about the I was like, man, this movie's either going to be bum, 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 or it's going to be really.
It's kind of like in a Rob Zombie film where you hear fuck, 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 fuckity, fuck, fuck, and then that amps up the fucks per minute. That does it skews the results a little bit, but
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of also like in Kill Bill, when there's the scene of the crazy 88s and she kills all those guys in a 5-minute scene. It takes the kill count of that movie to a rate of probably about the same minute.
Yeah, one a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 a minute. But she's not killing somebody every minute. And there are scenes in this that there's this one incredible dialogue scene where she's got with the opening antagonist, Ashley Stinnett, which is an amazing.
He is.
He's amazing. Wow, he really goes crazy.
He does.
And I feel like he's got some stuff in there, and I thought he really lets it out on screen. But she has a scene with him, and it's 9 minutes of dialogue.
But it's interesting the whole time, and it's crazy, and it's shocking.
When she says, "I'm tired of sitting here in my piss and shit," he sniffs up and down her and talks about how good she was when she was napping.
And he's like, "But I love it."
And I love
but
it.
I love it. And basically that brings me to bring that to another reason why Redhead kind of came to be also was we did a short film called Taste of Revenge with Ashley and me, and we was amazing working together to where it flowed so good that we was like, oh, and whenever it was showing at the theater with the other short films, because it was like a short film thing where everybody showed their short films, everybody was like, I want to see that as like a full movie now, because you guys have me intrigued with this. And so then that's another reason why we thought, well, we'll work on this then and get this done. And that was 2 years ago.
We went back into that stuff better. So I got to give also props to Scott Myers.
Yes.
Scott Myers he plays her husband in the film. He very much is the kind of guy, like, if you need to strangle me, just do it, and I'll tell you when to stop if I have to. He's a Marine. he's a retired Marine. And then Dina Leslie, she gets stabbed and pulls a pot of boiling water on top of her. So it's not actually boiling in the scene, but I mean, she pulls this full pot of water. She falls down the floor with a pot of water, big giant like crab boil pot on top of her in the floor, and then gets scalped. And she just really, she tolerated being wet and miserable. Evan Mackey, who we talked about, he's in The Walking Dead. He shot his scene twice because in the first scene, the street light, we didn't have our other lights turned up bright enough, and the street lights ended up causing a flicker in the footage because based on frame rate, the lights that they have in street lights sometimes do cause like a flicker. Mm-hmm. So you have to have your own lights brighter to cancel that out. So we had to go back and shoot that again. That obviously was after I got off work at like midnight.
Really
we came and shot, until 5 in the morning, and then
it was really cold too, and
we frost on the grass.
We was like, well, we were going to do this, and when me and him got done, we both ran in and was like, from the blood.
Oh my gosh!
I was wearing shorts and something, and she was like, "I'm really cold." I was like, "I hear you. Just do the part."
Too. Me and him both. If we stopped for like 1 second, which we didn't really stop, but maybe twice, we'd go in real quick, get something to drink, and get warm a second, and then run right back out. Yeah. And we both did that.
Another interesting thing about the way Johnna films, when she's supposedly using chainsaw on people and she's sawing them up, obviously blood's flying in her face. When I'm spraying her in the face with blood, she intentionally opens her eyes, and I tell her not to, but she does it anyway. She intentionally opens her eyes intensely to make sure the blood goes in them, and just deals with whatever comes the next few days. And I'm like, please don't.
The way I feel about it,
but she does it.
You have to, because if I'm murdering somebody with a chainsaw, I think in my head I have to have my eyes open because I want to watch them die. I want to see them suffer.
Yeah.
So when he sprays it in there, I'm just like, and I just keep them open as much. I mean, maybe a second. I think they tried to shut, and then I just kept them open. And the last time I did that, I did the same thing because I'm like, I want to watch them die for real. The character, she would make sure she sees it. She wouldn't close her eyes. She'd want to watch them. Yeah. And I try to think about everything how Autumn would be like, and what she would do that would be a real thing that a killer would do. Yeah. We both sit there and plan it out how I want to be, and do heavy duty thinking before I even shoot of how it should be in my head.
I was kind of a bitch about the blood. I mean, I've had a lot of blood put on me in movies and stuff, and in haunt acting, but there's a scene where I get the saw on the dick, and when she's spraying me in the face to make it look like it's coming up from my crotch, the nozzle's going upward, and it was going up my nose, straight up my nose. So I started and my hands are tied down, and I'm in my whitey tighties and my feet. I can't use my feet, so I'm just tied down, and there's blood just spraying upwards into my nose and my eyes, and I'm just kind of, I had to eventually just say stop, and cut, because
you remember with Conversation with the Devil, whenever all that blood went in my ear, and I just tolerated it, and then Travis was like, "It's in my ear."
So you're a trooper, and he's gonna be like, I don't want blood in my ear, I don't want it in my nose.
Well, let me tell you about Trooper.
She's got it in her eyes, up her nose, and her ears.
She's like, I got this.
For a couple days that it was still in my eyes, and I'd walk around, and people probably were like, "What the crap?"
She gets an infection or whatever, and she got bloodshot eyes and a ruptured blood vessel or whatever from bullshit.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a scene when I die in this movie. I get a sawzall. I get a sawzall right in the dick, and it goes up my belly. And so to get that effect, to get the initial impact, it has to look like it's making contact. You got to see the blade. Boom, hit me right in the crotch. So to accomplish that, how would you do that? I took a piece of cardboard, and I carved it out in the exact shape of the blade, and it actually turned out to be the right width and the shape, and it fit into the sawzall. Perfect. I painted it black, and you turn the saw on it. This piece of cardboard works. And I thought, okay, sure. I said, just jam that into my dick and it'll work. It'll be like, just boom, just do it. It'll collapse. It's fine. It's okay. So I got these.
You know how fast that's moving, right? Like that could be a feather, and that's still going to be painful.
Yeah.
And it's like
cardboard and paper cuts are painful.
Yeah.
I thought this thing was going to collapse. It's fine. It's going to just, you're just going to jam it in there and boom, it'll be like hitting the crotch.
he had a sock put in his
I
crotch
put a
to
sock
try
in
to
the
help
whitey
the blood
tighties.
from it, and the sock moved.
Well, so she comes at me kind of slow and just and like it hits me and starts to go right in my sack, and I'm like, oh, like
The screams are real.
yeah. So I've got my arms tied down. I can't defend myself. I can't put anything in there. I'm just, oh my God, I'm not acting. God damn it,
And then afterwards, I said, "Are you okay?" And he's like, and he's like laughing.
I was like, oh, we got to do it again.
It's so easy, though. I mean,
You ain't easy. It's a saw. Okay.
Well, I judged it well to where, and I practice it to where it barely touched them balls.
Barely is the worst.
Well, barely touched it, but it still kind of went so I
Fucking
could get right in the shot. That it got him to where it.
Okay, let me put this in
really
perspective. It's like the world's worst, most oscillating vibrator slapping your clit. Just to put it in perspective, it's like it's like a weed eater clit, like weed eater hitting your clit. Okay, so we had to do 2 more takes, but I'm sitting there strapped up and I got the camera running, and I'm like, will you just reach and pull my underwear open and just like, will you just push the sock down a little bit?
That's my sock. Would you adjust my sock? And in the behind the scenes, you can't really see anything except just me pulling his underwear back, like sitting there adjusting it.
Oh, and the worst part about that is we got to do that again because she's actually going to have a wound on her before
I
she
want
does
to
that.
be wounded in that
She
scene.
wants to be wounded, so I'm going to get wounded again.
I want him to wound me because I was like, he's got to be tough because of the character he is. I feel like he should at least wound me.
So I got to get that jammed again.
We need to see. We need after this podcast. We need a blooper reel.
Yep.
We need to see the blooper reel.
There'll be a blooper. There's a blooper reel.
Oh, I probably will shit my pants. I mean, like, I'm not telling. I can't tell you how. Okay, so this oscillating piece of cardboard, straight on, it didn't bend. It just, my God.
And I was pretty easy with it.
Well,
but at the same
time, I was like,
it vibrated just like.
It's funny going back and watching the takes because I'm like, just jam it in there.
Yeah,
jam it.
He said, just jam it. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it that hard.
So I have to deal with it once. I don't want to do 3 takes.
Well, it looks really good. I mean, it
looks really good.
Once I did that, it shoved in there and then it barely hit him, but it vibrated, I guess, so bad it hurt him. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was over with. And he just started crazy laughing like, what?
I can't wait to see this movie.
Yeah, this is insane. Yes.
I can't wait to see this movie. We're gonna have to do a follow-up podcast after we watch this movie.
We'll be like, yep, we watched it and
oh God. I mean,
you need to go in there and actually watch that again in a little bit.
You enjoy
it.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Just so we can have a good laugh again.
But I mean, there's a scene where she stabs a guy in the dick, and when he pulls the knife out, blood shoots out onto the floor, and then his sack falls out, like his balls fall out of his sack, and then she grabs these and rips them from him, like and his mouth.
It's amazing. I'm sorry. I love that. I just. I'm looking forward to this so much.
Yes. You said July, right?
Well, July is when we're done filming.
October 30th.
October 30th. Yes.
October 30th, we're doing the premiere in Huntington, West Virginia. Where are you guys located at?
I'm in Florida.
I'm in Ohio. Florida?
Ohio.
Yep.
We're going to try and do some more premieres and stuff like that. Obviously, streaming will happen a good bit of time after the premiere. We're going to try to do some multiple premieres. But I have a little stringent feeling after the success of Terrifier 2, we're really hoping that they kind of helped people be receptive to this kind of
The
violence.
craziness.
Yeah.
And I really,
absolutely.
I hope that we get this picked up in some theaters, and I've been able to get, films in the past picked up in multiple theaters, but I'm talking, it would be cool to have like the success that Terrifier 2 had, get something, minor budget, but I mean, people were just kind of like, hell yeah, this chick is, and not from a feminist perspective, just from a human being perspective. Don't fuck me over. Don't try to avoid my, or get in my space or make me feel like a bad person because I'm not, my life and I'm pushed too far. Leave me alone. I think a lot of people are getting to that point now, like, leave me the fuck alone. And it's kind of a crazy mentality. But I really think that, I don't know, maybe we're making you uncomfortable, but
if you put, this is the thing, if you put your heart and your soul, all your passion, just do it the best that you can. My cat is going to kill me.
Your cat's adorable. Oh,
yes, I'm sorry. Sometimes she's like a scarf and I can't help it. Her name is Lexa, but
he's adorable.
she's being a kook, but I mean, you put your blood, your sweat, your tears, everything that you have into it, do it the right way, take your time with it. Even if it releases late, take your time and make sure it is the best movie that you can release, and people will see that. And that's where you're gonna just keep going. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion anyways.
That's been my feeling about it, because we've done, the short shoots on movies. We've done the 2 or 3 week rapid, no sleep, 26-hour day, 3 hours sleep, 26 more hours, 3 hours sleep rotation. Yeah. That is tough. And with this, I feel like we can get what we're more patient. We got an 8-hour effects shoot instead of trying to rush effects in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take your time, do it the right way. Yeah.
So we have the opportunity to really just take our time and we're going to do that. And also the entire community where we live, Barboursville, West Virginia, they are people that I didn't really expect to be a fan of. They're not fans of horror. They don't like violence, but when you tell them, when you describe the situation that she's been in, she gets rooted for. She's an anti-hero in that respect. And that's why we feel like it's a slasher concept. And I'll tell you this, she doesn't die in the movie. There's no way I would ever even hint at that. That she doesn't die and everybody else does. So
that's great.
I'm not going to hide that fact. And I've done so many movies where I've had to hide deaths and stuff in the trailer because it would give away the killer and all that stuff. No, she's a killer. She's killing everybody. Okay.
You're not hiding it.
Don't have to have spoiler alerts if there's no nothing to spoil.
Well, okay, so look at Freddy Krueger. Who's a killer? Obviously, duh. Yep. And why was Freddy so popular? And why was he so scary? Nobody, people, kids didn't see the movie, but they knew who Freddy was, and he was already in their dreams and scaring the shit out of them because he's this character that parents explained to them, but they hadn't seen the movie either. And they were explaining it based purely on speculation and based on spreading fear to keep their kids from sneaking and watching the movie. And that is exactly what I've been missing in a directorial feature in the past, is a character that we can really just promote as being a killer. And everybody that deals with that character is probably going to get killed. And I know that sounds sick, but it's a story.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And Redhead is sick in the head.
Well, I'll sum it up this way. The movie is largely us exercising our demons. There is a scene in this that you won't know what scene it is probably, but it is incredibly personal for her. And it brought her great distress for a couple weeks, just because of what she had to do to channel that energy. And I was so proud. Watching, I let the camera roll between takes a couple times on accident, and I went back and watched that stuff, and I was just so proud of her because she was sitting here in a really difficult situation and suffering while we're busy setting up the next angle. Freezing, cold, wet, covered in bullshit, smelling nasty smells, and it just kind of sums up.
I really wasn't thinking too much of that though at the time.
You weren't, but you were in that.
I was.
Whether you were thinking it or not, I mean, that's what you were in.
Yeah, but it's funny. I wanted to stay in character of Autumn so bad at that moment. I kept myself in character for hours on hours on hours.
Just shivering.
Even in between, just so that I could not lose what I wanted to do with her, as far as like establishing what you're about ready to see with her, how she changes. I wanted people to see how she was before and how her steps go and how she changes and becomes the crazy redhead.
Her arc is pretty crazy. I mean, like when you look at a character arc, I mean, a lot of times it takes an entire movie to develop, but then this movie, her character arc goes from point A to B to C, then D, and then kind of F. Like, many apologies. That happened really quickly. Before credits, and then slightly post credits, she's already where she's going to be, and then the rest of the movie is basically just her kind of cleaning house. So I mean, that character, I mean, she does develop a little bit more after the credits and after she had those first couple vigilante kills, but not so much as in the beginning, man. Like the beginning is a very rapid arc, and I don't know. It was absolutely her channeling PTSD that I'm sure a lot of us have some of that stuff there, and she intentionally used PTSD and shed real tears and snot, and let herself be nasty
and let myself be ugly, and didn't mind what I had to do in order to be the character right for it.
Yeah,
I want to be right and to look good, and for people to actually see that that this character was going through all this horrible stuff at first to make her become crazier and become mean. So it kind of established why I become what I am.
Yeah. It was real proud to me to see that happen.
When he kept
but I also
coming out-
felt bad.
When he said how proud he was of me, I kind of cried that I appreciated he was that proud of what I went through for it, and made me feel good, and I appreciated it so much.
Well, I can also relate because I mean I have my own damages, and I putting yourself in a vulnerability stage to where you're going to be paying the price for the next 2 weeks. It's definitely a trade-off for art, but I've told her all along, things that happened to me in the past and things that have happened to her in the past, use it for good and use it for art, and just go ahead and take advantage of what people did to you and what's happened, and man, make money off of it. Like if people are going to screw you over,
Definitely.
it's a weapon, man. Just you've got it inside you, and why be weak your entire life? Just put it out there, use it as a strength. And if you have to draw for acting, I don't care if people call it method acting or what, they can go to hell.
It's vulnerability. It's not method. It's vulnerability to situations that you have some kind of a connection to. And it's being able to be open with that vulnerability and then still have the mindset to let that emotion flow through you and get back to a healthy place afterwards. And I think that that's really what she was able to do with the scene. So I can't wait to see it.
It's definitely taking that negative and turning it into a positive. It's
And it's not one of those 70s exploitation films that has a big giant rape scene in it. You don't have to establish that. It's the dialogue is powerful enough, and the way she portrays her character is powerful enough to establish we don't need.
We just thought we'd have
nudity and stuff like that. I mean, it's just violence.
We just figured we'd have more of an understanding with this of why, of how everything become of, and the script to like put in so much detail there and make it such a crazy scene between me and Ashley that you focus more on that and it's an intense scene in itself, kind of. Are kind of really gross and nasty, and the environment is gross and nasty, and
Oh man, I'll never forget
the
the smell
things
of that
he
rotisserie
says are
chicken.
really horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
God. So
Wow.
I mean, the smells of that scene. Okay, so there's also a scene where she actually really like in that moment, she actually really has to vomit.
He told me, said, I want you to actually really
I
vomit.
didn't quite get it the way I wanted to see it flow the first time, so she did it the second time. And the poor boom operator, he's like listening to her audio, and at the end, like he's just like, like
Gotta suffer for your art. You got
That was happiness was like, oh, I'm getting out of here.
oh, it smells so bad.
He wanted real vomit, so I did it.
On the Steven Spielberg level, I'm not a good filmmaker, but I mean, I don't care.
Well, it's real. It's not something that's fake. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it's funny now. Me and her both have vomited for real in a movie. Like I mean, in my first movie, 12 Pole Manor. After I get hit with a cleaver in the belly, I started vomiting on myself, and that
Nice.
was so we both have done that multiple times, and we also have to go back and put our wardrobe on later to film an out of sequence shot. So her wardrobe, we're actually filming a scene involving the very opening that takes place prior to that. So she has to put on her vomit clothes that have been sitting for months, that have not been washed because of that'll kill the detail on them. So that's
Pew.
Ugh.
Pew.
That's
you don't got to worry about
That's
COVID,
something
right?
else.
That is dedication to art right there, is what that is.
Absolutely.
Well, we
Man.
got used to when we did our haunt acting. We always had to put on the same stuff because you don't want to mess up your detail and wash any of
You
the stuff
can't
that
wash
we
it.
did. So we got kind of used to doing that stuff with the haunt stuff
Smells
too.
like ass and shit. Like
Man.
Ass and shit, killing me.
slop, you slobber on their clothes and stuff like that. I mean, I don't mean to gross you out, but I mean it's just kind of it is true
It's just
filmmaking.
what it is, right?
That's what it is. Yes, it is.
This might be a documentary. I don't know. Is it a true story or what?
And the fact that you guys came from like a haunt is so much fun, because I've talked to a couple other people who are now filmmakers, and that's where they started, was doing haunts, and then they moved on to this. And seeing you guys go from just being haunt actors to being filmmakers is inspiring. You're doing a great job. You're out there busting your ass, and like you said, you've been working on this movie while you were doing other movies, and that's a lot. It's
Yeah.
And you guys have regular full-time 40-hour-week jobs and all that fun stuff too. Jeez.
Well, 55 hour a week probably. I mean, I just work in a bar, so
Yeah.
you never know when closes.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, we feel like people that work in the haunt world have a special knack for, especially horror filmmaking. And what's really cool is, in 2020, she won Haunt Actress of the Year
Uh-huh.
for the Haunted Honeymooners. So she got selected by them, and then voted and
Nurse Red.
won the award as Nurse Red.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
And popped it out. I don't know if it's a reverse or not, but I mean, it's a
Yeah.
full-fledged award. She won that award, and this, I guess, I hope you guys don't mind us announcing this here, but the film After Redhead is going to be an anthology-based film, similar to Creepshow and stuff like that, Tales from Dark Side, and it is going to be called Nurse Red. So we will be taking our haunt characters and making kind of full-length feature film out of that kind of experience.
That sounds amazing.
So, have you all seen the Terrifier movies, or
Yep.
All Hallows Eve? Have you seen All Hallows Eve?
Yeah.
Okay, All Hallows Eve is the film before Terrifier, the first Terrifier. So basically, Damien Leone had his short films that he did, over a decade, and tied them together with one central story. This babysitter basically tells these kids they're not really supposed to be watching a videotape that they get from trick or treating. So that ties it all together. Kind of the same way that in Creep Show that you've got a comic book, and in Tales from the Dark Side you've got Blondie going to cook this kid, and he's trying to postpone his death by reading out stories out of a book. So with us, we're tying in there's Nurse Red character and Candy Cane character from where we worked, and tying a bunch of short films that we've done in the past together to make a full-length film to bide time before the next big one. So it'll be really cool to kind of tie things in from the haunt stuff. I mean,
that's cool.
We have a lot of good makeup experience as ourselves. I mean, we do our own looks as far as that's concerned, and we do our own effects on a lot of stuff.
Own looks and detail our stuff.
And Joshua, okay, so I got to give Joshua Atkins credit though. When it comes to some of the scenes with Johnna in Redhead, when she's looking filthy and like she smells like poop, he's responsible for that smell you have coming through the screen, because the way he makes her look is like she's existed in an environment suiting for that.
Yeah.
And the reason that I compliment him is because he's been able to tie it in and make it look the same from scene to scene. Weeks apart, months apart. He's been make it look that he has that classic makeup experience. Travis Robinson is excellent with prosthetic design. He's excellent with blood effects and explosion effects, and basically the guy is not afraid. He would set himself on fire if I would let him on screen, but I wouldn't.
He would like to set
Not doing that.
I do basically guerrilla style effects. I use what I have, and we use blood sprayers, and we don't care. We whatever we have, we use. So it's all three of us kind of, all four of us kind of combine, and it's a special effects kind of thing, and that's kind of similar to the way Damien Leone does the Terrifier stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that happening with other indie filmmakers, and just
definitely
low budget death.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get too far, where can people find you? Like, do you have a website for your stuff? Facebook. Or Facebook?
Cine Savage Films is on there. So Cine Savage, like Cinema Savage, but it's Cine Savage. Is that backwards, or is it?
Nope, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So there's that, and also you can search Redhead Film on Facebook, and we do a lot of stuff on there. It's, and then just search us personally, and we don't care to add you.
Yeah.
Sam Hodge, Johnna Hodge, and
Awesome.
Just make sure you find the right ones that are sick and twisted on their face. If you see see testicles on the latest posts, you probably got the right people.
Well, you'll see us get up with his account. You'll see me and him as our haunt characters, and then with me, you'll just see me, and it says Redhead. And then on both of us, we got the Sin Savage logo.
There we go.
The new logo.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Sammy's. Then you see me as Nurse Red and him as Candy Cane. Well, we always work together in the haunt too as a team. He was my patient, and I had basically gave him undead serum to turn him into an undead patient. And he had killed me, and that's how I had become Nurse Red. I was already his nurse, and he hit me in the head with a hammer, and he cut me on my face, and we developed it that way. And then I really, at the haunt, whipped him with a horse whip.
Horse collar. She used to beat the shit out of him. She would spank my ass at everybody.
They loved it. I'd do this crazy turn with the whip, like I'd spin it around crazy, and then I'd just whip him with it, and everybody loved it. They tell me, you can give me medicine harder, and he'd tell me to do it harder, so I would, and everybody'd be like, "Oh, like that."
Well, honestly, you know, I probably got in a little trouble with the honk because that used to kind of make me too wild. You know, I had a sledgehammer I was carrying, so I had to be really careful about what I did after getting the shit beat out of me. Because it gets you riled up, and I didn't wear any padding or nothing. Somebody accused me of wearing padding once, and I was like, "Go ahead and hit this ass," And I got in trouble for saying ass. So you never know who you're dealing with.
Nope.
So,
Well, most time everybody liked us though.
Yeah.
Like they came to see us a lot because they liked our crazy whippings and stuff.
Yeah. Most people are cool with it. But if you go to a place like that, I mean, just expect stupid stuff. Like that.
Definitely, 100%. So I do get. Can you buy your films currently?
Currently, you can buy Reunion from Hell it's streaming. You can rent it from Amazon Prime. It'll be on Tubi in the next week or whatever. They didn't really give us a date, but it's on also on Momitu, Typhoon, Rewarded TV, and then Reunion from Hell 2 will be out on streaming soon. Also, to buy a physical copy of Reunion from Hell, is you got to contact the other director, Hayden Newman. You can probably find him on our Facebook, but it is streaming, so it's out there. And even if you stream it for free, it's still I don't you don't have to pay the rental fee if you can watch it for free. It helps us either way because of ad revenue. So I'll just say this right now: if filmmakers try to make you think that paying a rental fee is more important, it's not. You get the same amount of money.
I've already talked to a couple other directors, and they told me that Tubi and like Plex are the best things to happen. They said they make far more money on those two platforms than they do selling rentals or even physical copies. But like me, I have to have a physical copy, and I usually try to get them signed and have stacks of DVDs floating everywhere.
Well, we did that recently.
We sold out of our physical copies recently, so we'll get some more.
Okay.
Actually, we have.
And we can mail you one.
We actually have one more, so
Nice.
we can sign.
Yep.
You want us to send you one?
Yeah.
We got one of Reunion from Hell.
That's awesome.
We sold the rest. We'll get some more because Hayden always works with us, so we make sure to have all our films together.
So Hayden gets them pressed. We pay Hayden for at cost, I believe, and then we sell for our end. And and Hayden sells at on Hayden's end at conventions. So we, Hayden directed, I directed. We're partners in the film, so like we have to do what we have to do. We all put our money in as producers.
Yeah.
So we pay costs and then we get what we can out of conventions. These are $20 when we have them, but it's hard to actually keep them in stock.
Good.
Heck yeah.
It's cool. It's kind of a cool thing. It's kind of a cool.
It's awesome. Yeah.
I'll message you guys later about getting one. So yeah. So,
but I will tell you, if you go to one of the best places you can go to stream right now, it's Typhoon Streaming. It's a relatively new place. Typhoon.
Okay. Awesome.
I have to look at
I don't know if they're on like PlayStation or not yet, or Xbox, but I definitely was able to pull up on my computer, and they had a really good quality stream of it. There was no problem because I go and I watch all the streams to make sure that they're true to our actual master. I don't want if a streaming service is not representing our film correctly, I'm gonna pull it. Like just straight up. Like they should not be using subpar software or hard drives or whatever servers to put out their movies.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
We want to make sure that people are getting what they're paying for or what they're spending.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
that just looks bad because they're not going to assume that it's the the streaming service that
they're going to think it's the movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like so, sometimes if you see a streaming service, sometimes and the dialogue doesn't match up, that ain't the filmmaker's fault because obviously it passed QC. The QC is quality checks.
Yep.
It passed that for them, so they screwed up somewhere along the line.
Oh yeah.
And we have actually, I'll be honest about this. We have discovered recently that going with a distributor, unless it's like huge, like Lionsgate or like a big one, we basically are going through Film Hub, and they make sure everything's right, and they get it straight on to the streamers really quick. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's
And
really good.
you get more, as a filmmaker. I don't know how many filmmakers are watching this, but if you get more filmmakers involved in that, I think it'll probably basically eliminate the need for distributors, because they're doing the same thing that Film Hub is doing, but Film Hub gives you 20/80 cut, like they get 20/80 cut, and it's not like when you had distributor took a lot of people's money. They fell through. Film Hub is very reliable, and they have access to like 110 channels now, and you don't have to pay anything up front to get on there as a filmmaker. You just have to have a good film. I mean, it literally has to pass the quality checks. I mean, they have pretty high standards. It has to be a legitimate movie. It can't just be, YouTube ready kind of upload documentary, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's not a movie. I mean, sorry guys, but you got to have like a legit thing, and they're not basing it based on like a story or anything, but literally just how good how good your movie
Quality.
looks.
Yeah.
Quality,
The quality of the cinematography and sound and everything. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a cool thing for indie filmmakers. That's kind of, and now, just like in the next couple of days, Hollywood's writers are going on strike. Like the writers' union's going on strike. So it's like, oh yeah, what do you think about that, filmmakers? You love unions now? Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, that's one reason a couple of my favorite shows never came back back in the day.
Yeah, that's because there was a lot of good stuff that isn't coming back out.
Trust me, I would love to work on some SAG films to get my money. I as a greedy person, I would enjoy I would enjoy the SAG benefits, but as a non-union filmmaker, the way SAG works is it basically is just kind of it's a wall that you never can get over if you're down here making great films, and you're looking at like what if Evil Dead never really got the big break? Like what if Sam Raimi never got noticed by Stephen King? Where would horror be if the first Evil Dead wasn't watched by Stephen King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave a little review of it, and boom, Sam Raimi's all of a sudden important.
Oh yeah.
But that's what it takes.
That's all it takes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So why should a good movie be ignored because somebody big doesn't notice it? So you got a lot of good movies out there.
That's why we all have to support each other. Everybody in the indie community has to support each other. We have to share each other's work. We have to get the word out there, because that's the only way it's going to get out there.
This is one reason why I do this show. It's because
that's why we
appreciate you so much.
Yeah. So it's fun being able to interact with a lot of people in the indie filmmaking. Watching you guys, you see similar things from person to person, and then you see like people that are like way over here, but there's still that little bit of similarity over here, and it's fun to see all these people grow. It's fun to see watching the early films to their last films. It's always a learning experience. It's always Crystal and I had this conversation. It's all about the big movies don't have souls. The little movies do, because everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be putting their asses on the line, and big budget movies.
The amount of love put into it is just much different than a big box just trying to shove movies out, 10, 12 movies a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love a dumb popcorn movie, but you know what? I do love.
Well, that brings me to the Cocaine Bear kind of thing. Like,
oh gosh, let's not even touch on that.
Well, I just want to put this
going there.
I'll go there. Universal put $30 million into it, so why in the world is it trying to act like an indie film? I mean, it's preying on indie filmmakers that have made it recently, that have drawn the attention, and then all of a sudden, notice what you're not seeing anymore in the theaters. You're not seeing indie films in the theaters anymore. Since Terrifier 2 came out, Cocaine Bear came out, and boom, kind of put a halt to it. And that was exactly the
Well, Skin and
intent.
Marine came out though too. I know that was more limited, but that was another indie film that came out. So these distributors are trying to get more movies out. Like one that I was recently in, Harlow's Haunt, got picked up by Bayview Entertainment, and they're working on getting us in, for in theaters or just distribution in general, depending on where it's going to be, right? So I think the more that we push out quality content, the more serious that they're more serious they're going to take indie films. Because anybody can grab a camera and attempt to record a movie, right? And it's not going to come out right. But if we're all trying to make the best films that we can, that's what's going to make the biggest impact, in my opinion.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah,
Definitely.
take it serious. Take your time and stuff. Instead of trying to pump out 5 movies a year. I mean, at this level, I mean, you can't afford to pop
I'll
out
tell you,
that.
the guys that did Terrifier, because I recently met all of them. So the guys that are working on Terrifier, they work on one movie at a time. One, not 5, not 3, one movie. And right now they're working on Stream, and they're not starting production on another movie until Stream is done. Yeah. And that's how they did it with Terrifier. So Damien Leone talked all about it in his panel as well. 2019, they were filming Terrifier 2. Pandemic happened. Everything went to hell, but they took their time. They went back and they refilmed. If you watch his latest panel, he was in Baltimore a few weeks ago, and they did a panel there. And he talks about how they did like an entire scene and they scrapped it because he's like, you know what? I don't know if I'm happy with this, and they went back and they refilmed it, so it's like putting that attention into the film and being able to put all of your heart and soul into that one film and making sure that it comes out, like I said before, the best film it can be. They took their time, and look what they're reaping the rewards. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
That's like what we've done with Redhead. Just took our time.
You have to
yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
never delete, because some of that stuff is good to put into like your special features, but it's definitely reshoot if it's not up to par.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have your lights bright enough, if the image is not clear enough like you want it, if it doesn't match the rest of the look of the film, if there's not enough blood, if it didn't show up, if somebody looks different than they should, just get rid of it. I mean, just do it again. Have integrity.
There's no reason not to. You've already put 99% of the work into everything else, and then that 1% is going to look like crap. And you don't need that. You want it to all look how you want it to look, So I think that's the biggest thing that I can say for any indie filmmaker. And I've only been in the industry a couple of years, but I've seen people try and do it with no budget and do it poorly, and I've seen people do it with no budget and do it amazing.
Yep.
And it's there's just such a difference when you put that much into it, right? When everybody puts that much into it.
Oh yeah.
Unless you believe in your story, you got to believe in your movie. I mean, like, if you don't believe in your movie, you don't have a movie.
Yep. You're right.
Oh yeah. Well, on that note, we got to get going. Crystal's got to head out. I got to go upstairs and get my dogs and my kid. They went outside. So mine, I couldn't do this. Like you guys letting your no, my dog would be knocking the camera over, would be climbing on me. I have 2
my
corgis.
cats are already doing the same thing. So
yeah, the corgis are fine. Well, my corgi's fine. The other corgi is wired every moment of every day. And then the big mutt dog, she does not let me do anything.
We have 4 dogs sitting around right now, and a rat and a toad and a tortoise, and
I got a fat corgi, cat, and the other cat's hiding.
another cat around there somewhere.
Yep. Yeah, the cat you saw last night is right there. You can't barely see her.
that pussy's hiding itself.
Oh my God.
So, well,
And girl, if you ever want to kill a blonde, let me know and I'll come up.
Yep.
Okay.
Or if you want someone to murder with you, I'll come murder people with you.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Therapy, making connections for movies, so we can have their film.
I would love to. I love the way that you talk about the work. So absolutely, please keep me in mind.
So
That'd be awesome.
Well, thank you all so much. It was a brilliant having the opportunity for you guys
Yes,
to talk to us and let us
Yeah, it
speak.
was so much
Thank
fun.
you.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Yeah.
definitely.
We pitch our material all the time, and we just love to pitch it, and we always have something new to say about it. I guess. I mean, I guess the more we talk about it, the more we feel from the work. So it's just
Yeah.
And,
You
and,
can feel the passion when you talk, for sure.
and when you guys get closer to being done, let me know, and we'll
Yes.
talk again more about it, because when it's done, I want to hear all about how it goes.
Okay.
Point A to point B. So,
I mean,
I
there's
want to watch all the kills, and then I want to talk about the kills. I think that would be a
then
fun
we'll have to
episode.
watch it, and then we'll have to do our homework, and then we'll come back later for another
Yeah.
episode where we talk
I
more
would
about
love to.
no.
All right.
And I'll tell you this as a caveat: if we don't have as many kills as we talked about, it's over quality. I mean, we'll go for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Go for quality
There-
over quantity. Yes.
Yep.
There are
Do 38 instead if
Yep.
they're all,
38 instead of 40.
you know.
Make them
Yeah.
38. Mean it. So.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, guys. Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Have
Nice
a good night,
meeting
guys.
you.
you guys are awesome. And like I said, I'll keep in contact. I'll get with you because, like I said, I'd love to get a copy of the movie and all that fun stuff. So I am going to end it here. So you guys have yourself a great night and day and all that fun stuff. So
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
See you.
Yule.
Oh my
Happy
God.
you all.